Okay, so Tony, do you want to just explain about your business, introduce yourself, who you are, how long you've been a business owner, that kind of thing?
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, so Tony Danby. Owned this particular business for about 20 years now. 20, well, 22 actually, but used to own it with my ex-wife. So I've probably had it on my own now for the last 15 years. Uh, we're predominantly a gym. Um, we diversify with classes, but not in the gym itself. We use the old dance studios now, just turned into gym, and we hire other spaces to do classes as well. We're predominantly just a village location gym, which is
Okay, and
very,
whereabouts are you based in Leicestershire, right?
yeah, in one of the little tiny villages outside Leicester stuff.
Okay, amazing. And what was your inspiration for kind of starting up the gym? Were you always kind of into fitness, or did you just want to be
Yeah,
a business owner?
I got out of the army. I was an ex-army guys, and then when I first got out, I used to box. I taught boxing and I taught classes. There just wasn't the kind of money in it to sustain life. So I was looking for somewhere to buy, and I bought this. It's an old church, so I bought the old church like 20 odd years ago, and I used to just teach classes, but just couldn't. Again, we couldn't make money just teaching classes.
Yeah.
So we started filling it with kit and doing PT, and then before you knew it, it just seemed so much more practical and profitable.
Yeah.
Where you can actually sustain a couple of staff if I could just turn it into a fully fledged gym. I should like when I first opened it, everyone said it's a bit mad to open a gym in the middle of the village. There isn't enough people who said, and I said, well, as long as most of the people from the village come to the gym, they don't really need anymore. I'm not interested in being, a Valentine.
Yeah, and I guess
So
it creates that kind of community feel within the village as well. So that's quite nice as well. Did you say you were in like a converted church? That's quite interesting.
no chat.
Oh, wow. So like, does that affect like how you heat it or did you have to kind
Yeah,
of install different things and
that's the reason why I'm obviously putting got every bit of clothes I own on right now. It's a cold build.
I can imagine.
Even with the heating's been going all morning, it's still pretty cold. So yeah,
But
take some warming, take some cooling down.
yeah. But then I
32.
guess when you're doing a workout, you're probably not wanting if you're gonna get warm anyway. So that's
Yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah. It just takes a lot to warm up.
Mhm.
In the summer, it takes a lot to try and keep.
Yeah, I can imagine. So with the cost of living crisis, for example, like have you had to adapt how you run the business at all, or have you kind of stayed on an even keel?
I mean, I've been very lucky when it comes to like heating. So I locked into a uh, good deal with gas and electric back in 2021, I think it was. And I'm still on that to 2025. So I've not really noticed any difference for me. And that's in electric and gas. It hasn't affected me yet. I'm guessing once 2025, I'll see quite a big difference. But yeah, I've like I say, for the gym itself, my gas and electric prices haven't changed.
Okay, that's really good then. So like you haven't had to kind of because a lot of gyms to cope, even with just I don't know, like members not being able to afford to come anymore, and then the lack of members, they've had to kind of put their prices up and stuff
Yeah,
like
I
that.
think I've got less members, but where I'm really lucky is because I bought it over 20 years ago. Not in the same situation as a lot of other smaller gyms. So I've got mates who own gyms and they're struggling because
Yeah.
the cost of renting their building has gone up so much, not just with heating. We don't spend that much on heating gyms. Why do you heat a gym? No real reason. Everyone gets that as soon as they get in there. But the cost of renting the building is probably the single most biggest cost, and wages. I mean, the one thing I've noticed the increase I've had is wages.
Do you have like a lot of staff, or are you quite a close-knit team?
Yeah. We've got three. There's me and three others.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that my staff bills, especially as I took on some new staff about 3 years ago, and they're really young. So as they've now started to get a bit older, the cost of hiring them has gone up exponentially. So
Definitely. And why do you kind of think exercise is so important to like physical and mental health?
Uh, well, I'm going to go by myself without exercising. Yeah, tasty life, especially being ex-army and whatnot. It's exercise. It's always kept me on a good sort of roll. Always found it makes me feel better. The day I'm doing it, especially the day after. I enjoy having things to look forward to. I do competition still and this that. So I think for me, it's just having something to aim for all the time. It's not always necessarily PB or getting fit or getting strong. It's just knowing that on a certain day you're going to do this, a certain day, that, and not having your life just around sitting on a sofa. Very little. And then there's the other thing. I'm 52 years old now. I still go and do all the things I want to do in life. I'm still quite mobile. I'm still quite fit. So I've got members who come to the gym or members that do my classes that are in their 60s, 70s who still come on big long walks with me. So as well as doing this, I do it like I said, I do the outdoor fitness. So I do that as well. So I've got a boot camp that I do. And on that, we do a lot of like mountain climbing and a lot of mountain walks and some big long stuff. So next year we're doing coast to coast, 200 miles. There's 10 of us doing it. And you can't do those sort of things. You can't do other things in life. You don't have that health and fitness. So people who aren't healthy and aren't fit miss out on so much, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So, like, what's the oldest member that you have, or like, are they in their
Yeah.
80s or
In
something?
the gym, I think the oldest member I've got in the gym is 84.
Oh, wow, that's impressive. That's really good. And they're like a regular member.
Yeah, Peter Lee.
Oh, wow.
It's like most days. He's an very good ex like county, almost low-level England runner in his day, and he was a PE teacher. So he's always been fit. And now he wants to try and be one of the best orienteers in the country for over 80. So
Wow,
he's
that's
still
really impressive.
driving to do. And at the outdoor things, which to be fair is a lot harsher, running outdoors and things. I've got a guy, Tony, who's 70, and he still does burpees. He does them all, he does everything. And he's
Really cool.
not back in the middle of the blues. We do different bit full of blues, red, green. We've got quite a few in the 60s. Tony's probably the oldest we've got in the outdoor sessions.
That's really good then. It kind of gives you a sense of achievement that like people want to, it's not just a hobby, it's like a way of life in a way, and you're kind of creating this nice community.
Yeah.
Do you kind of feel a need to compete with like high street gyms and stuff? So like, for example, I don't know if you're open 24 hours or if you feel like you need to be, or you feel like you have to offer like certain classes to keep up, or do you just do your own thing?
To be honest, I've generally always just done my own thing.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to be there, because then you've got like your own niche, your own like types of people coming in and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I generally aim people I want to be coming to my gym,
Hmm.
more people like myself. So I find it very easy to who to market to. Basically, market it to myself and
Yeah.
anyone who's similar-ish to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, then I guess you get on with your members more and you get that personal
yeah,
connection with them if
yeah.
you've got kind of the same kind of personality and stuff. So that's really cool. What do you think your biggest achievement is as a business? Is it just setting up, or you got something that you're really proud of?
I mean, I guess being around for 20 years, especially when we first started, everyone told us we were mad, chucking all the money to get to buy and build. But yeah, and I think achievement-wise, I think it's just continually seeing people joining us and changing lives. I get quite a lot. I do a lot for the local community. There's problems, or so I'm a trustee of the community centre just up the road. We've ploughed a lot of money out of the gym into the community centre. The idea is to try and use that as a place to teach classes long term now. So we're doing that this year to try and get those people calm to use the community centre. The community centre is going to provide classes for free. So we're in the midst of doing that. So there's lots of things that I kind of get involved with that I'm quite proud of. In the sense that I don't really boast about it. I just get on with it.
It's very humble. Like if you've own a business and you've been running for 20 years, but yeah, no, that's really impressive. That's a really good thing. On the other hand, like what do you think your biggest struggle has been as a business owner?
Uh, Probably cash flow. It's just when things go wrong, like a piece of kit breaks, you've got to find that cash to fix it. I'm not a money person, so I don't really that interested in having lots of money, nice car. Because I get a holiday once a year, mortgage paid each month. So yeah, cash flow has probably been the biggest things. And then during COVID, for instance, we lost a lot of members. Well, I didn't suffer as many as I've got a mate who lost his gym during COVID, just couldn't help anymore. And I've got another mate who was very close to losing his because he still had to pay his rent on his building, still had to pay his rent on his machines. And I didn't get affected as much as them, and they lost like an astronomical amount of members, where a lot of my members carried on paying when COVID was thing and came back straight after. So, but yeah, but it was harsh. It was harsh to almost lose something you've had for so long through no fault of your own.
Yeah, definitely. And especially because like gyms in COVID, especially like they focus on you have to have that face-to-face interaction. Like I guess you could try and do it online, but it's not the same vibe, I
Yeah,
guess.
we do online classes. We have 20 classes a week online. Mainly, I mean, the gym didn't really get that involved, but the outdoor fitness lot did. So but that's what they do in the house. They didn't mind classes online rather than outdoors. But yes, it was a testing time. And it's not something I'd ever want to do again. I don't enjoy online.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything any small business owner like found easy. It was very, very difficult.
No, we did quite a lot of different stuff, which was quite good in that sense. So we had like social nights with the
Mhm.
bingo, started doing lots of different stuff. And we had running clubs where you would just plug in and listen to it running, and I would tell you when to sprint and not to sprint.
That's
We
such a
did
good.
quite a lot of different stuff, trying to keep it a bit different. Absolutely fun.
Yeah, that's a good way to adapt though. It's like it's really interesting how even different gyms, especially kind of like adapted in such a way. Like some of them closed, some of them went online, some of them had like specific classes and stuff. But yeah, that's really good. How do you keep your staff motivated? Like if they're having an off day or, how do you kind of keep them going?
No, that's difficult. I suppose in some ways it's about who you hire, isn't it? If I need to motivate someone to be in this industry probably isn't for them. That's the way I would look at it. You've got to be self-motivated, especially with the fitness side. So most of my staff, like young, they're really into their fitness. They're really into it, and that in itself motivates. I mean, the hardest bit of motivating staff is keep them on top of the gym rather than their training and their clients. That's what they're really good at. It's keeping them doing all. Cheers, Steve. It's keeping them doing all the little things the gym needs. Keep them motivated, keep the reception clean. Once in a while, pick up weights from all the people because when you're in this gym, when you work here, you work on your own. So if you're here for the 8 hours, you're here on your own for 8 hours. There's no one else helping unless I pop in and come and help a bit here and there. So we all do our own shifts, and then we might just come in around those shifts doing PT or what. So,
That's nice, because you kind of got the best of both, where it's like you're independent and you're like doing your own training and stuff and working with clients, but then you've still got like that nice team feel, which is really, really cool.
we're a good little bunch. I mean, we've had a couple leave just that home. That decided that the fitness industry was too much for hard work and kiss COVID for that. Two, and then we've had two new ones recently, so they fit quite well. Me and Ben are sort of. Tara only does like 2 shifts a week, and she got a full-time job outside of the fitness industry. And then Josh as well, so he's new. But hopefully he's going to be sort of he'll come on full-time eventually.
That kind of leads me on to my next question. So like, what are you guys most excited about in the future? Like, do you have any plans to expand? Do you have any plans to like grow the team or like do anything a bit different?
I don't like expand, but I definitely want to do more. I definitely want to be out of the gym. So I do a lot of hours in the gym as well as doing the outdoor things. But over the next few years, I want to do less hours in the gym, more hours doing what I love, climbing mountains and taking people on big long walks and things. So we've been looking at that, and the hardest thing about that is just getting staff to do the whole thing for me rather than having to keep my eye on. So once I've got the staff in place, and then I need enough staff to help me out with this, then I will start doing what we were going to do this year, not next year. We were going to do a fitness holiday in Tenerife. So I just don't know if I have the staff to help at the moment.
That sounds like a really cool idea. So like what does that entail? Is that like
Well, I've done them before, but with another. I used to work for British Military Fitness. We used to do something. So I've done them before. I was part of the team doing it. The team that ran it. I just sort of got involved and was one of the instructors on it. But yeah, but I'd like to do it. So it'd be basically the people who want to join would pay a certain amount of money. They would get themselves to the area, which is in Tenerife, and then you would put a holiday, which is based around fitness, education. And then it's usually about we did 6 days last time. And you have a day in the middle where it's like a social day, partying and drinking, and then we have a lot of other social activities going on during it. Most of getting in the morning doing fitness, getting your breakfast, and then so I've got a particular place that they use that I spoke to, and that they would be happy with that. Yeah, it's something we're looking at.
yeah, that's really exciting. That's kind of like a different, you don't really think about stuff like that when you think about fitness, but you know, you got to have off days as well, and then it comes as like a nice package, doesn't it? Um,
Mm.
so like how do you market your business? Do you use social media a lot, or is it in a village, is it like word of mouth kind of more?
I think word of mouth for the gym itself is massive. For the outdoor fitness, it's probably social media more, because we do that mostly in the city centre, in Victoria Park. So yeah. So I use a good group of everything. And then the PTs, obviously, because they PT in the gym, they do a lot of videos and they tag the gym. So people who like what they see from that. So I've got a couple of PTs who just hire the space, use as a PT as well as they're not staff really, they're just paying me some money to use my gym. And that helps because they have a good following already. And then every time they do a post, they tag the gym or they tag Leicester outdoor things. We
Yeah,
get a
some,
lot of
some
different stuff.
exposure for you, I guess. Yeah. Amazing. And like what advice would you give to someone if they were going to start their own business?
Oh, God. um, I think first and foremost is make sure. Now, I knew fitness, didn't know fitness for this. Just jumped in and bought it, and started buying kit that I realised just rather bought that. No one used it. So yeah, I understand your industry, working at you really understand how it works. Otherwise, you're just going to keep buying stuff, spending money that's just an absolute waste. Yeah, because I mean, I'd say now I've been doing it 20 years. The wastage now is I just don't waste money, and it costs me so little to run this gym compared to mainly because I used to waste. I was always buying stuff I needed, and then it sits there 6 months and never gets used. So that just doesn't happen now. Everything I buy now is proven I need. So I
Yeah, I
don't buy.
guess how, so like, do you kind of assess like what equipment is popular and then go from there, or
Yeah,
do you
and
kind of
before
do
I buy a
surveys
piece,
and stuff?
yeah, before I buy a piece of equipment, I go somewhere and I use it
Okay, that's a good idea.
because you can hear off people that this bit of equipment brilliant, and then I go and use it. Well, no, that's not going to work.
Hmm.
Imagine I've got 50% are over 60. Getting on the machine is too much like hard work,
Yeah, it's half the battle.
So yeah, so yeah, you've got to really understand your clientele, but more importantly, go and give it a go. So find out somewhere that's got that bit of kit, and then give it a go.
Yeah. Okay. And then finally, if you could go back to the start of your business journey, would you change anything and why?
If I was to what? Sorry.
If you could go back to the start of your business journey, would you change anything, do you think?
God, yeah. I'd have divorced my wife a lot earlier. She cost me a fortune. I had to buy the gym twice. So yeah, no, yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. I spent money on stuff that didn't work, like sunbeds, just trying to have spends that just weren't there for this industry. And to be fair, I mean, I bought sunbeds because I talked to it and then realised I personally don't agree with them. And I'm like, oh my God, something in my gym I can't stand and I won't advertise because it's bad advertising. So, there's lots of things like that. Yeah, and I think I probably would have put a lot more emphasis on the gym earlier on. So quite early on, I was all into boxing. So I had millions of boxing bags everywhere. And people, once we had bought a bit of equipment, wanted the equipment. And I was always like, no, we're a boxing gym. And then it took me a few years to realise, no, we're not actually a boxing gym. I like boxing, so I think we're a boxing gym. We're not actually a gym. So it took me a while. Now we've only got 2 boxing bags. There was a time when we probably had 20 up on the wall. So it took me a while to get over my own love of a particular sport rather than trying to turn it into what I needed.
Yeah, I guess that kind of links into what you said about like knowing your clientele and adapting from there rather than just what you like, I guess. But yeah, that's really cool. Is there anything else that you'd like to add or anything that you'd like me to include in the interview? You can always email me afterwards or whatever if you think of anything else.
No, that's fine.
Amazing. Oh, thank you for your time. And I'll get writing this up and I will email you it like a draft of it next week. And you can just tell me what you think. If you want me to change anything, like I said, just let me know. Okay.
Okay. Right.
Thank you,
No
Tony.
problem.
Nice to speak
Thank
to
you.
you.
You
Bye.
do. Thank you. Yeah, bye.